Well, hello and welcome. It's been a little while since we have popped in and done our live, and this is fun. I've kind of missed it. So, how are you both this morning or afternoon? Good to see you,
Well, I'm
Keaton.
very happy to be here. Thank you for organizing again a live podcast. And I'm happy that the sun came out again in Lisbon, so ready to tell the stories.
Lovely. And Trish, lovely to see you. Has some of your snow disappeared, or you still under a foot or two of snow?
We are melting away. It's been warm and beautiful. So we're happy in Montana.
Lovely. Well, to those that are listening to us as a podcast later or just watching our live, I just wanted to introduce my co host that I am so pleased we're now on episode 11. And although that doesn't sound like a lot, we've been doing this for quite a while and we only do it twice a month. And it just, it just blossomed. As I think, Kathleen, you once said, sort of, we birthed a baby together. And we just stepped into this.
We have a common baby, yes.
We have a common baby. So let me tell you, our folk that are listening, a little bit about Kathleen. She joins us from Lisbon, as she had mentioned, and she teaches online yoga classes. She also does workshops and has online courses that help you to deal with overwhelm and anxiety. And then, exciting as spring comes and summer comes, I think beach yoga is being added to your schedule. I am jealous, but and I
Exactly.
cannot pronounce the beach. So you're going to tell us where. Is it on the weekend?
Yes, on the weekend, Sundays at 11 a.m. at Fonte da Teglia.
Lovely, lovely. And then we're joined by Trish. And I love Trisha's, the name of her website. You will find her at healthylifemindset.com. And that's what it's all about, Trish, right? Is just you have a fabulous new program, the Buddy System. And that's cool.
Yeah, it works out well. Just like a trainer at the gym, people are motivated, when you have your friend or partner to keep you going. And so in my coaching program, that's been something new. And I have one new pair I'm working with now, and I hope to soon have more.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I think we do need, it does help us that we step into something when we know that we've got somebody else that we've committed to. And so we both show up together. So yeah, that's wonderful. And then I am Carol. I'm the host of Lisbon Retreats, and I am excited that that is back on the calendar and patiently waiting to see what the year unfolds. But September is the tentative date, and that's going to be inviting women entrepreneurs to join us in Lisbon for 2 weeks while we get creative, work on our business, do yoga on the beach with Kathleen, and have some wonderful coaching from Trish. So in the meantime, I host my Motivate Mastermind Club, and the three of us are together in that. And we've been together for a while in the mastermind and watched each other grow and add layers to our business. And today we're here just to talk about stories. And I know that it's a short word, stories, but it has so many multi different level meanings. What do you think, Kathleen?
Well, I definitely think that, as it's so nicely said, that it's a short word, but it's such a deep meaning and different layers of meanings, right? And I don't know, I think I would like to tell a story about stories we tell ourselves.
Mm.
So, one morning, many years back, I was sitting down with my laptop to search for my very first yoga teacher job. I never attempted to be a teacher of any kind, but through my own healing and journey, I felt this calling to share this with the world and to help others. So, and then I sat there with my fingers over the keyboard, my heart started to race. And I thought, what if I don't know how to become this teacher that I want to be? And as I sat there with my fingers on the keyboard, I noticed that my nails needed a filing. So I just left and did whatever my mind was calling me to do, right? But the voice didn't silence. And I heard, what if I'm wrong? What if the whole world will find out and I will be exposed as a fraud? And then suddenly I thought, I remember an article I wanted to read. So again, I left and I thought maybe a little research will help me. But whatever I did, the voice was still there. And I heard, what if my classes weren't good? I will disappoint my students, my colleagues, my family, my friends, and I will let everybody down. Well, and at this point, looking around, I saw the bookshelf and I thought, someone really needs to tidy it up. So I left. But if we examine my thoughts and what I told myself, nothing that actually called, no task that called me away was important, but it was offering me a temporary ease, right, from anxiety. And we can also see that there are 3 assumptions that I made. First, I thought I had to be sure how to become the teacher that I wanted to be. Second, I thought if I was wrong, I would be exposed as a fraud. And third, it was the disappointment, right? The disappointing others. So, and these stories that we are telling ourselves, not even consciously, are all fueled by anxiety. And most of anxious people have these 3 assumptions in common. One, the intolerance of uncertainty, then the perfectionism, which I really, really had and still have to deal with, and the over responsibility. Everybody will be disappointed, but these stories are stories that we, as I said, we unconsciously tell ourselves, and they're holding us back from living our true self, from living our dreams. And just one more thing, each of these assumptions are overestimating the threat and at the same time are underestimating our ability to cope. So I don't know if just by telling this story, if anything pop up in your mind, Carol, that have you ever had a story telling to yourself that you later realized it was holding you back from living your true self?
I do. I hear you in that. And the one part is that you say stories that we tell ourselves. And that's exactly what you're doing. Has somebody else said that to you? I mean, what do you think, Trish? It's like, has somebody said to you, Katlin, you're a fraud. Katlin, you don't know how to do this. You've said that to yourself. And that's where when we flip the script and step into confidence. Trish, how does that resonate with you? I mean, are there stories that you tell yourself that have held you back?
I'm sure there are. I kind of took a different path, but I really resonate with what Katalin said. I know we call it the imposter syndrome often, and I think we all do feel that at times. So I appreciate that.
But I do, this comes into when you say, Trisha, taking a different slant. And when I did my, what do we call it? The little spider web, the drawing on the word stories. And you go, so we have stories that we tell ourselves. Then we have stories of our life experiences. Then we have stories that we listen to and learn from others that inspire us to step forward or do something or be brave because we've listened to somebody else telling the story. And it was interesting. I was listening to something the other day that spoke about people don't necessarily want to hear your wins. They do want to hear your struggles and how you've overcome them. What tool did you use to get from there to there, and what helped you? Because then they could try to use that same tool. Whereas if you've won at something, yes, we're behind you and this is fabulous, but they want to hear the struggle. And I know that, Trish, you have a story that you'd like to share with us.
Absolutely. Yeah, I took some notes this morning, and I love thinking in visuals, and metaphors are always so popular, but just living, I was thinking about my life and thinking about the stories of our lives, and especially at our ages here in our 40s and 50s and 60s, in this midlife as women. And I thought about the word collaborative. There's Catalin.
Hello.
I thought, the word collaborative really comes to mind at this chapter in my life, but I've realized at this place in my life, I really am thinking in chapters. And I'm thinking, especially in my coaching practice, how important it is for us, at least for myself. I'm starting to look back at this midpoint in my life and think about the chapters of my life and think about, has it been meaningful? Has my story been meaningful? And I also think of it, again, as cliche as this might sound, as a work of art. The fact that it's not just my story, but it's a collaborative effort. I think each of us adds to another person's story. I even wrote down allowing others to contribute and share, that our lives are not solely our own creations, but the result of a collaborative effort. And I've always felt that I'm a lifelong student, and I feel that at this place in my life, our flaws, not unlike a gem, they become a beautiful part of who we are, and giving ourselves permission to be that flawed person. So, we're born into a certain family. We branch out to become unique and independent. And to me, a fulfilled story would be being a part of others' lives, having them be a part of my life. And to me, that makes my story rich. So that's where my mind was this morning, is just really, what can I offer while I'm here? And then at the end of my life, as dramatic as this might sound, will my story be meaningful to me? So that's what I came up with today, and it resonates with me.
I love that, the collaboration. Collaboration is, we need each other in society. We need each other. We weren't put here to be solo. I saw something yesterday that said something about it takes a village to raise a kid, and it's like somebody said, so where do you call the number to get the village? But I mean, we do need our village. We need each other. We cannot, all the things that we do, whether it be doing life, whether it be in business. Here we are, all three solopreneurs, growing our business. We've all come from corporate background. And then we have stepped into what we want now at this stage of our lives. And that's what we're entitled to claim. Why do we need to be pushed into a box that doesn't belong to us? I think of when I started my business, when we moved here to New Mexico almost 11 years ago, I was wearing many hats. I was working full-time doing marketing for an aviation company. I was the assistant to the pastor at our church. And then I thought, I'm going to start my own business. And one thing I'm grateful for is having started that business, because when I hit the overwhelming grief period in my life for so many years that I could then no longer cope with working. And you can't hear me, Kathleen?
Just go ahead. I can't hear Carol, just Trish.
Okay. And I just, I hit that period of moving through grief and then giving up everything. I no longer wanted to work in corporate. I no longer wanted to be around people. I spent a few years being really, really angry, but I am grateful that I had started my business and it just coasted in the background until I was ready to pick it up again and then move forward. And now I look and I go, wow, here I am, I'm 60 and I've blossomed into another whole season. And that's what you were talking about, Trish, is chapters, seasons. if you told me I'd be here doing what I'm doing now? No. I don't know about you, Trish. I mean, did your chapter of stepping into coaching was also driven by a personal desire and a personal need and learning and transitioning?
Yes, and I realize now this is a great topic, because I realize now that it's also what have been my pains, what have been my struggles, what has been my story, and how can I help others. I think a lot of us feel this way. How can I help others with the knowledge and the wisdom I've gained through the pain and struggle?
Absolutely. And Katlin, you've got exactly the same thing with anxiety that you have learned, and you've tried strategies and done different things. And so I think we all step into wanting to help each other. And that's, to me, is kindness. It's collaboration. I don't know what other words spring to mind when you think of this season in our lives. But, well, ladies, I think we are almost on. We normally keep our podcasts fairly short, 15 to 20 minutes. So we would love to know from others if you have a story to share with us, or if you would like to just talk to us. We have a website for our podcast, and it is connectinspirecreate.com. And on the far right-hand side is a little button that you can leave us a voicemail. But we will be back in 2 weeks' time. We have our next title for our podcast is Active Listening. And I think active listening and stories, there's so much to dig into that. And then after that, we do have a guest that will be joining us. But I wanted to just ask each of you if there was a tip that you wanted to leave with our audience just about life. I mean, mine is, you're feeling overwhelmed with life? Take a break and try and learn something new. It could be something small. I mean, right now we're trying to give up meat, and I have been fascinated at the support that has suddenly come out of the woodwork of all these people in my family and all over the place who have been on the same journey of trying to reduce meat in their diet. I was like, I had no idea. But Katlin, is there anything you want to leave with our audience? And I don't know if Katlin can hear me.
She might not be able to. I'll grab one. Be yourself. I think we all feel that others might want to tell us the path we need to take or how we could be a little bit better. And I think it's important to listen to that, but always remember to be yourself and really appreciate who you are for your gifts, and thrive in that. Don't be ashamed to just be yourself, because that's what makes you beautiful. I know that sounds cliche.
I totally agree with you, because, even in business, I think that is so important. There are millions of people out there, and there are hundreds of people doing what each of us do individually. But by being ourselves, that is what allows, by sharing our beliefs and our values with our audience, that is what attracts people individually to each of us to want to work with us. And that's
Katlin, if you want to jump in case you can't hear Carol, you go next, girl.
Okay, I couldn't hear anything, so I don't know what I will have
Poor
to
thing.
read afterwards. So where are we now?
We're just leaving our audience with. Sorry, Trish, you want to
tip? It's the tip that you'd like to leave the women with. Your life wisdom, Miss Katlin.
Life wisdom, such big words. Trish, but I would like you to think about stories that you are telling to yourself, and I would like to encourage you to start to rewrite them. This is also a part of what I teach my clients, how to rewrite these stories. If you need help, just reach out. But I would really like you to be aware of what you are telling to yourself.
That's
very good.
Lovely. Well, ladies, thank you for joining me from around the globe. I love the fact that we can come together across the continents. And for those that have listened to our podcast, you'll find it on all of the channels. So please subscribe. And if you have the time, we'd love a review. We'd love to hear what you got out of listening to our stories and just help others find encouragement and inspiration. So we'll be back in 2 weeks' time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.